my message is truly just empowering yourself, becoming your best version of yourself, speaking your truth, freeing yourself, right? Doing what is best for you. What is your calling?
Welcome back to another episode of Never Left Behind. This week's episode takes us into an incredible and motivational journey alongside Cody Alford. Cody is a retired Master Sergeant who served in the United States Marine Corps as a Marine Raider and has had a total of 7 deployments throughout Afghanistan and Iraq. We get into his upbringing and how that influenced his career in the military, the health benefits of natural plant therapy through psilocybin, and his life after service, which includes starting up his own company, We Defy The Norm. There is so much to unpack from this episode, and we hope you enjoyed as much as we did. Real stories, real heroes, for a real cause. This is Never Left Behind, the podcast. Hey, Cody, how are you tonight?
Great, man.
Hey, we're very excited to have you on. I think the last time I spoke to you was it in South Carolina or North Carolina when I met up with you?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, that's right. And I think it was right outside of Wilmington.
Yep.
Where I met up with you and you were in your van and all that. But we're stoked. Obviously, you're in our book, The 20-Year War. We're stoked to have you on tonight on our podcast, Never Left Behind. And I kind of wanted to jump in and take it all the way from the beginning. We didn't really talk about this when we were interviewing you. But where did you grow up, and did that have any motivation of you enlisting into the Marine Corps?
I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and honestly, nothing but like a commercial. I felt I was a commercial guy. It showed me something new, not like it was just like, oh, military. You don't know what you don't know as a young kid. And my dad was a Marine, and he never talked about it. That old type of breed that really kept everything inside, great dude, just different generation of programming and everything. And, but yeah, my motivation was, dude, I just wanted to be a scout sniper. I saw the movie the Sniper with Tom Berenger. And I was like, dude, this is it. I made my own ghillie suit. Like that was my whole motivation for wanting to be in the Marines. Like literally the only reason.
What age was that at that you made that decision?
Oh man, I was still going to like daycare, so it was like it was a long time. So,
yeah.
Well, and I look back at my vision board as a kid in school. I didn't even know I had a vision board until like now I'm an adult and I know that term. And sniper, that's it. That's all I wanted to do my entire life, or at least in the military.
I think that's kind of like Dan and I grew up together, and I remember out in the desert, just right next to my house, literally we were digging like foxholes and having like paintball wars. And I was always like infatuating myself as being like a sniper. And that was my first thing that I wanted to go into, is I wanted to enlist in the Marine Corps, go through Scout Sniper School. So it's very interesting to hear somebody who had those same sort of footsteps or mindset.
Yeah, dude, I would just sit in the backyard with my little green soldiers and like my little BB gun and like set up little scenarios and shoot. I'd lay I started laying underneath my like the comforters, the blankets. My mom did laundry when I was a child, and I would low crawl from my bedroom down the hallway into the living room where the pile of clothes would be at next to the garage door. And dude, I'd be underneath those blankets for like hours while my parents were like watching TV or something. Like, it's on a weekend, so they're kind of like vegging out on the couch, doing laundry, doing some housework. And I remember my mom finally hours later coming to like pull this blanket off to go put it in the wash. I'm like, and I'd get her, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is just what I did. I was always hiding and low crawling. And I'm just like, dude, this just makes sense to me. I'm supposed to do this.
So was it the movie, the motivation then behind you wanting to become a scout sniper, or what kind of determined that idea for you?
Yeah, originally I wanted to be a ranger. That was the very first poster I ever saw, an Army Ranger. And I was like, this is super cool. Well, then I started to like geek out on like Discovery Channel, History Channel, and books, and there wasn't even internet at this time. So like, I'm just like using whatever references real media was back then, right, or education. And I found out about Scout Sniper. I'm like, well, shit, that sounds better than a sniper. I want to be a Scout Sniper. And then obviously, the movie Sniper with Tom Berenger. And then it just kind of really all started added up for me. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. No other place has a Scout Sniper. At the time, there was no sniper movie that the Army portrayed in. Really, the only one I think was like Clear and Present Danger. And there was like a few clips, and but that just didn't do it for me. I was like kind of really hooked and like it's something I could grasp onto because I knew I wanted to not go to college. I knew I didn't want to work I knew this is what I wanted to do as a young kid. And it really gave me that ability to start visualizing that path and like, okay, now, I made my own ghillie suit outside when I'm like 12 years old, not like I wanted to shoot things. I wanted to just the discipline, the skill set. It just looked hard. And it looked like something that was calling my name and I just had to go.
So yeah, I think that spark in me was Saving Private Ryan. The guy who's sniping from the bell tower.
Yeah.
That whole scene, I was like, oh, I want to do that. And then get blown up by a tank.
Yeah, I definitely want to get blown up by a tank. They can keep that shit.
Did your parents like kind of know, I guess, especially as you're going through those scenarios and everything, like did they know you wanted to join the Marine Corps and were they, supportive of it?
Yeah, 100%. I remember one time because the Army at this time, they were doing like commercials on TV and they said, call this number and we'll send you a free boonie cover and like this like VHS tape. And I'm like, a free boonie cover and like a training tape? Like anything military, dude, even like the sappy military stuff I would watch. I just wanted to consume all that information. And I remember calling the Army recruiter, get this video sent to my house, and my mom was like pissed. She's like, what is this? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I thought you wanted to go to the Marines. I'm like, I do, but it's a boonie cover. Like it's, they were like, dude, you're trying to change your mind. And they were never pushy one way or the other. But I told them at a young age that that's what I wanted to be. And they were super supportive. Like, stay focused on what you want, like if that's what you want, stay focused. Don't deviate because of shiny objects type of stuff. So I'm very fortunate for that.
I'm kind of curious if you took a similar footstep to me, and I don't know if the current generation nowadays is doing it anymore, but do you remember, and they're still around, but did you ever like go to like Army surplus stores and buy like I used to buy like ribbons and medals, like the knockoff ones and like the fucking old like BDUs and all that. Bro, canteens, everything.
The boot bands?
Yes.
I thought those were tactical bracelets back in the day, bro. So like I bought them shits and I'm like wearing them around. And then, dude, my friends, so like my friends that were like my friend's brother that was 2 grades ahead of us, they already went to boot camp and everything. And we're like, oh shit, and there's a lot of patriotic people and some people joined for whatever reasons. At this time, there was no global war on terrorism. Like there was people just wanted to like better themselves or fucking escape little small town, whatever the case is, right? But they went. Well, they brought back MREs. I'm like, holy shit, I get to try one of these things? Like, I remember eating like it was a meatloaf one. I thought it was like hot shit. I'm like, wait, there's more of these at a surplus store? I was just like, give me. Like,
and then you'd find them. You'd like look it up on like, back then it was like MapQuest. I remember looking up like local Army surplus stores and finding one that was like 15, 20 minutes from our house where we grew up, actually just down the hill north of Palm Springs. And I'd go in there and there'd just be some old like Vietnam vet running it. And I'd be like looking at all these clothes that didn't even fit me, but I would still buy stuff and collect it from like, I don't know, I was like 8 years old up until like my early teens.
Man, we could talk about just how much clothing and sales or like the surplus stores have changed since prior to 9/11 because it's crazy.
It's not the same.
Not even close.
No?
Yeah. To me, it's in a decline from what it used to be. The whole interaction, I lived in Tennessee for about a year right before we met.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of like old non-vets out there, those small surplus stores. So it still kind of gave me that old feeling, but my eyes were different. My eyes changed. But some of these other places I've been to, it's like crap stuff. It's just like it's like Amazon, tactical Amazon. Like, what is this?
No, the stuff that was around when we were going was like still Vietnam era and then like Desert Storm
stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting the Desert Storm stuff like, this is badass, these goggles and this.
Bro, that thing could have been on a cook and it was like seeing some shit, like that thing has some discipline in that cloth material, like
it definitely was some cook's goggles.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
So what was the time frame of your enlistment? Because you said global war on terror wasn't really around yet then when you were growing up. Did it happen around the time you enlisted?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2003, so 2 years after, and still no real motivational change, that didn't sway anything, just anyways. So yeah, I joined in 2003 and I retired in 2018, September 2018.
Wow.
So yeah, I got to early
Damn.
retire. I was able to early retire due to medical reasons, which luckily that's why I'm here. So pretty pumped about that.
What's early retirement? Is it 18 years?
No.
So I was on a medical board, and
Okay.
how they have it is, at least if you came from a soft unit or in a soft unit, any part of that, any member of that organization, and you were on a medical board found unfit for duty, and you're in at least past 15 years, you can apply for early retirement. So that's exactly what I did, and just kind of worked out, and very grateful of it.
Okay, gotcha.
So, because I am curious, like, even though it didn't really change your perception of what you were going to do, but still you probably witnessed 9/11 happen, and you already had the motivation to join. So, like, did you get more amped up, and did your parents get like worried that you were still super motivated to join the military at that time?
I think everyone saw 9/11, which is such a weird thing, but I mean, I was in Spanish class. I think everyone remembers exactly where they were at and saw something, which is, in a time of VHS and Blockbuster, it really makes you think how and why how is that even possible? But it happened, right? These big shifts in time where people stop. But I think they kind of knew, because OIF 1 happened in 2001, right?
Yep.
And so they already knew that there was like a conflict. Then you add, kind of like all the second, third order effects of an invasion and, what war actually is. And they kind of put two and two together. But I think that's just kind of what is expected. My parents weren't really soft people. My mom was a cancer survivor. My dad was a prior Marine, and he was a cop for 42 years. He's been shot. He's been in the mix. Like it's kind of like, yes, you want to be a cook. Well, there's going to be chances that you might get burnt by some grease popping, So it's kind of like, they're just realists, I think you could say, or I could say, yeah.
It's kind of crazy if you think about 9/11 back then. I remember trying to research and find videos that were not on the news, and it was so hard to find like videos. And think about if 9/11 happened today.
Oh man.
Like, think about all the high quality and like crazy videos you'd be seeing come out on every platform.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how the times have changed, just because you mentioned that was like Blockbuster era.
Yeah.
And
it was hard to find things online. It's when the internet was just kind of coming into our lives.
You know how many more, to be completely honest though, and today, you know how many more people would have died because there's idiots out there that would have tried getting like selfies of a burning tower and like be up close to it?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, how many people fucking died a day for the same stuff, right? Just different scenario, because people are doing the same thing, but they're not taking action, whether that's egressing or doing something about a situation. So it's madness, man. Technology, I don't care what people say, like it has definitely separated the herd. But what's unfortunate is that the breed that still remembers, that's forgetting their past, but still kind of remembers, oh yeah, I remember when gas was super cheap. Like, it's their duty to continue to pass that on. And in the age of technology, people can be so easily distracted. They could be like, just like clueless to reality, right? There's no real grasping of like a different raw effect when you're shown a different world and nothing else to compare to it. Where we kind of saw that shift where printing out MapQuest or remembering your friend's number when the first chance you got a cell phone or you could make a phone call, like your brains are working, everyone's brains are working. It's just really crazy where we're at today.
Yeah.
But we have all this great technology, but people are literally retarded.
Yeah.
I think we're just abusing its power.
Yeah.
You see people that are filming people getting beat up or, domestic abuse, and people are still filming it. And it's like, why not step in?
Yeah.
Like, why put your phone down and be present? Because that's how I grew up. I mean, I feel like any one of our parents would have stepped right in and been like, break it up, knock it off. What's going on?
Yeah, you remember when like kids, were fighting in school, people, you know what I'm saying? Like, or like even out in public, like it was just like, it took like the community, like whether they knew each other or not as a neighborhood, they like stepped in and like stopped that shit.
Dude, when I was a kid, a fist fight lasted maybe a minute because so many people were stepping in to break it up. Like nowadays, it's like you can go on for 20 minutes.
Everybody stands back and just records it. And like, man, you know what videos make me the most upset, just in general, is when especially kids abuse authority to the point of like physically hurting adults. and all the kids are just kind of standing back and like recording and laughing about it and things like that. It's like, where did our ability to respect authority or respect people who, you know, are, whether they're a teacher, they're the school, you know, security cop, or they're the mall cop, whatever it is, like just at that level, just having that common decency and respect. And there's all these like TikTok challenges and things like that are coming out that kids are just doing these ridiculous, wild things that honestly is just, it's frustrating to see. And I think exactly to your guys' point, we're using technology in a way that's not benefiting us. It's just hurting us as a society and as a humanity.
It's just more using it in selfish ways.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean that's what happens when you take away history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you take away the Pledge of Allegiance, you know, no matter what your belief, it's a pledge to something bigger than yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, you're thinking about community, you're thinking about a future, you're thinking about true growth and prosperity, and you're looking for equality and liberty and all these things. But all we're doing is just erasing that. So technology is a huge factor. It's a gateway, right? But the vessels, the mind, those are the ones that are completely getting like nuked on a daily basis because they're just watching the TV or they're watching the programming while everything else is happening behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you wake up and you never knew any different, you would never know any different by seeing what a new norm is. That makes sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's happening right in front of us on a daily basis. It's beyond crazy. But dude, I've been zombie before. I know it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel it. I understand it, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Well, going back, I know we went down a deep rabbit hole for a second there, but and we could keep going. But you know, so you enlisted back in 2003. You wanted to be a scout sniper. Obviously, you know, you start those first few months, years training, getting oriented with your job and things like that. What made you eventually, you know, first of all, did you have a deployment between this, but then also, or deployments between this, but then what also inspired you to then volunteer for MARSOC and eventually get involved in MARSOC?
So when I remember being in the School of Infantry, so like the SOI, the very first school after boot camp, and because I enlisted as an 0311, a rifleman. I was told by the recruiter that was like the best way to like become a sniper, the easiest, whatever. And when I got there, I started making my intentions known. I started asking like I found out like who like the non-douche like sergeant was there, and like started like having dialogue and asking questions like, how do you lead? How do you do these things? You know, just like start being someone who cares about what you're signed up for 4 years to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told him like, hey man, I want to be a sniper. He's like, well, the unit you're going to, they're hosting, you know, this is later on in the course. He's like, hey man, the unit you're about to check into is hosting an NDOC in like 2 weeks. He's like, just so you know. I'm like, oh, that's super dope information. And so anyways, I was able to sign up for the NDOC almost right off the bat, you know, checking into my first battalion. And, you know, they came back from 29 Palms. They're doing a CAX training exercise. They came back and I signed up for the NDOC, and that was kind of game over at that point. And then I deployed. Well, excuse me. Yeah, it was game over at that point. So I was a pig, and then we deployed to Fallujah. That was the 04 deployment. So I was in the Marine Corps like 7 months, 6 months maybe.
That was a rough year there.
Yeah, that was dude. Fallujah, Ramadi, dude. Half my SOI class.
04 to 6 was.
Yeah.
Oh, to 7 really. 04 to 7 was horrible.
Yeah, half my SOI class was killed either in Ramadi or Fallujah.
Jeez.
And when you think about like your boot camp class, like my whole boot camp class were the Marines that filled 2-1 and 3-1. So Cornell Marines and you know, Mateo, I think where 3-1 dudes are at. But either way, it's just really crazy and just like, because you watch movies and we see the meat grinder, but you never really put 2 and 2 together. Like, oh, fucking dudes falling off a little Amtrak, you know, a duck vehicle getting smoked, and the more dudes are fighting, you're like, yay, movie, we won. And then you're like, holy shit, you try to put that in perspective in your own situations. You're like, dude, that's wild. You know, it's super crazy. So I deployed as a pig on my first day deployment. And then after that deployment, I was able to, all the pigs, we had a sniper school slot. So we came back and we did sniper school like 20 days-ish later. And so I became a scout sniper. And then I deployed one more time with my infantry battalion overseas to Iraq for Steel Curtain was the operation for that one. And then we were on a MEU on that deployment. And we started coming back from the boat. I'm like, bro, I got to get away. The dynamics of the platoons were changing. The old breed that I was indoctrinated by, they were getting out of the Marine Corps, they were killed, or they were retiring. Like, it was one of those categories, right? So it was all these new faces, new personalities, and this new era of like people that I just wasn't really vibing with. And I'm like, dude, I got to get out of here. I want more. Well, I was also the force reconnaissance sniper team leader, so like attached to the force platoon. So I was interacting with those guys all the time. Well, at this time, MARSOC didn't exist. It was only force reconnaissance. So I'm like, shit, when are you guys running a screening, or how does this work? And so I came back from that rotation, took leave, and then I went to go run the force indoc or the force screening. And that's really when I started my process to become a force reconnaissance Marine. And then later on, honestly, within a year, MARSOC stood about. And that was like the big shift. So first force reconnaissance and second force reconnaissance, we stood up first and second Marine Special Operations Battalion at the time. And that's how that whole organization got formed up.
Did you have to sign up for MARSOC, or did you just immediately get transitioned into it?
Yeah. So all the force guys, they basically told us that like when the whole like SecDef said like, hey, you have to have your like own soft entity. They're like, hey, we're starting up just like the force platoons, because the force at the time was like nothing against like the reconnaissance battalion dudes, but if you look at like little steps, force reconnaissance was the more senior guys, even though I was a junior dude. Most times they would spend some time recon battalion, went to force reconnaissance, and then from there we had a special missions unit called Detachment 1, and those dudes got disbanded, came back to first and second battalions or companies, force companies, and they're like, you guys are it. And so there were some people though, however, so basically everyone got rated back in the day, and some people got cut from force/MARSOC and got sent to reconnaissance battalion. Some recon battalion guys got pulled from recon battalion and brought into MARSOC to be like on the teams and start up the whole like operational side of it. So it was a mixture of both. So some dudes got cut, some didn't, for whatever reasons. They probably went off of some type of metrics or personality. But that was a big groundbreaking time for the Marine Corps as a whole. And the force dudes, we're all super pumped. We're like, this is it. I remember our colonel was like, hey, everyone's on relaxed grooming standards. And like, dude, it was like instant. They're like, hey, everyone's MARSOC. We're like, what the hell? What is all this? Like, everyone's on relaxed grooming standards. We're like, appropriate civilian attire. Dude, that lasted a week. And everyone was so pumped, dude. And it wasn't because like it wasn't so we could just like be cowboys. It's like, damn, dude, I could be an adult. It's always funny. They tell you to go overseas and like go fight a fucking war, but they want you to be like the most peasant of robot in the States. It's really crazy. And so to have that freedom to match your body and your actions with how your mind is able to perform there, was really nice. Well, that was very short lived. So they're like, everyone get Marine haircuts and like go back to standards. And that's really when the bylaws and all these types of things started coming out, and our missions really started to align. Because originally in MARSOC, we were supposed to go to Afghanistan. Iraq, excuse me. We're on our way to Iraq. And then they're like, you're going to do Afghanistan. So it was still very, very fluid back then in the beginning. And you can only imagine how the military operates with stuff like that. So
yeah, because I come from special operations, but I was a ranger, so I come from that side. And MARSOC to me still, and I got out probably right when things were transitioning more. So I got out in 2012. So MARSOC was like, it was known about within the special operations community, but I had never interacted with MARSOC in any sort of way.
Still in its like infancy.
Yeah, it was still, to me at least, and to the Ranger battalions, it was still kind of in its infancy. But you were there for through the rest of your career, right? So how did things kind of shape out, and how, I guess, because this is just educating me, like how does MARSOC kind of integrate with all the other special operations units, and like how do the missions kind of overlap or mesh?
Yeah, so unless something's changed since I've been out, the mission of White Soft is essentially, foreign internal defense, direct action, right? All these types of like, unconventional warfare, these pillars, right? And everyone in SW uses SOC, MARSOC, we all do those same missions. Now, granted, each branch has their own kind of specialty, but when Afghanistan started popping, Iraq died down. Afghanistan was the next main effort for SOF. Doing the village stability operations, doing the foreign internal defense, like that took a lot of manpower. Well, Marines had, experience in those areas and stuff like that. So we didn't have experience in like the VSOs. So like we really, when MARSOC first started, it was really awesome because we were really used as that, like, we don't know how to employ you because the SOTFs and CJIS SOTFs, like all these other higher echelon commands, joint commands downrange, they had a mission for us, but conditions just weren't set yet. There wasn't enough villages to go into. There wasn't enough like big blue arrows to go commit to. I'd only imagine because we're doing a lot of our combat missions were completely different. Not of everyone else's, but just very different from what we like really shifted to really doing the foreign internal defense, unconventional warfare, those types of things. So, MARSOC, when it first started off, it had its flaws, and the biggest flaws with the officer, really direction, that sniffing contest, and and no real assistance for them. They're comparing against other officers who are, long tabbers, they got scrolls, they have tridents, and at this time we didn't have any of those devices. We didn't have any of those. I think at this time we didn't have an MOS. So, you were only doing 5 years of MARSOC and you were going back to the real world somewhere, like back to like whatever your prior MOS was. So that was a big fear for a lot of guys. And luckily it didn't happen to a lot of us, but that was how they were cycling guys out until we got our MOS. So it's definitely going in the right direction. But honestly, dude, my last deployment, I was the senior enlisted leader for all of Northern Iraq for all the special operations teams. And dude, my dudes, that old community, dude, they know what's up, right? They've been experienced, they know what's up. Because what I'm seeing, MARSOC has its flaws. What I'm seeing also is the big shift of all the NSW guys, all the Ranger guys, all the USASOC guys, right? And so they're getting a bunch of young dudes. And the difference between MARSOC and these younger special operations organizations is those guys can sign up right from high school. Hey, I want to be a Ranger. I want to be a Green Beret. I want to be a Navy SEAL. Boom. Even though it's like a 2-year process to get there, they only know that community from the dawn of their time, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you got these pipe hitters getting out, when you have guys getting wounded, when you have guys getting killed, when you guys moving up the food chain, as the timeline of like life and the cycle of any transition happens, they're being taught by different people. So I really found out that like these other units, they had a lot of young dudes that really weren't as educated as like some of our more seasoned guys were, because they came from various backgrounds already in the Marine Corps. So I'm super proud of what MARSOC has done. I'm super proud of like what all the special operations done, because they've definitely taken us in, but there's a reason why MARSOC was taking charge of these, CJIS these SOTF commands, these special operations task force, these combined joint special operations task force. There's a reason why they were taking over in like, a few years of their existence. So it's been super great to be welcomed by the other SOF community, and to really see everything grow together now that MARSOC has its foot, more planted, and it's like a little bit more well known. So it can only go up, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Did you ever cross paths? I know the MARSOC community is pretty small, so you might know them. But the first time I heard about MARSOC was actually I was on a YouTube channel, and it's a guy named Nick. I'm spacing on his last name.
Nick Komalatos.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you know him personally?
I do.
Okay,
Yep.
Gotcha. So I found his YouTube, and this was years and years ago, and I found it very interesting because I've never heard of MARSOC prior. And then when I was looking into like what they do and all that, I was really fascinated by some of the things that he was telling from his experiences and going into that. I'm kind of curious to transition that for people listening that don't have any military experience. You being a scout sniper, how accurate are some of these like Hollywood movies that are coming out from like your involvement in your 7 deployments, which is a lot, by the way, compared to like say the movie American Sniper or Shooter? Obviously these all have a Hollywood play in them, but is there any accuracy to that from your experience, or are they all kind of just bullshit?
I mean, I've definitely seen I've definitely seen war happen. All right. I've definitely seen like, bodies get stacked by bolt guns, by just other stuff. I've definitely seen, individual people, envelop on the enemy, position themselves and like neutralize the threat. I've seen the rapid engagements. I've seen those things. There are a lot of theatrics when it comes to that, like you mentioned. But a lot of the considerations where they're just taking so much of that methodical time, because in the movies they're telling you, oh, I got to think about the wind, I got to think about the atmosphere, I got to think about like the X, Y, and Z, right? All these things, they're saying it, and it's really much faster and it's much simpler in your mind. Obviously, you have to say it for the movie to kind of like set that seed for you.
Yep.
But I'd say there is some, but it's probably 50-50, just like anything else.
Okay.
And I try not to watch those movies and like armchair quarterback them. I watch the movie strictly for the entertainment at that point if I'm going to watch it, because it is a thin line of like, oh, that's so fake. It's not like a bad Steven Seagal movie, some of these movies, but sometimes it's like, bro, really, that bullet just did that thing, or you just did this thing, it's just like some of it's unreal, like shooting through a train while it's moving, and like all these just unreal enjoyable things to watch.
I don't know, man. Steven Seagal with that steel ponytail, that's pretty legit.
And I grew up, he was a superhero.
He was.
And now
with Chuck Norris.
Dude, those, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Those dudes were OGs, like real movies. Now I'm thinking like, dude, I watched their new movies. I'm like, were the original ones this bad too? Like,
yeah, you got to rewatch them. They're that bad.
And based off what you just said, throughout your deployments and your experiences, is there one deployment out of your 7 that kind of speaks to you the most, that either you learned a lot from, or maybe there's an experience with that deployment that was the most memorable to you?
Yeah, my 2004 Fallujah deployment, I will never forget that deployment. That's literally the most wildest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Like, out of all my deployments, all my situations, and not just me personally, just collectively, my eyes seeing, me physically experiencing it or being part of it, it's just like, it's mind-blowing. And it was a lot of great lessons and realities came out of that rotation that I'll never forget.
As weird as it is to say, I'm almost happy to hear you say the first one, because I feel like sometimes if we ask the question, or some people are like, oh, it's actually this one because they learned something, but it makes sense for a lot of younger soldiers that are going into deployment for the first time that have no idea what they're going to be exposed to and seeing. That would make the most sense to me, of being involved in that for the first time.
Yeah, and talking from like the guys who are like my senior dudes that were, OIF 1 deployment guys, they would all tell us like, dude, this is great. No one's ever experienced like what going down in Fallujah right now. And then we had a bunch of Delta guys with us too. And they were the same way. They're like, dude, we've never been in this type of shit before. Like, I think probably the last event like that was probably Somalia for them.
Yeah.
And because they weren't doing raids, they're fighting for their life with us on rooftops, house to house. Like, it was not it was an unforgiving place. Because, my very first experience of war, they were prepared for us, so.
And they almost have more tactics set up as well, because they're used to that area. And I think that's kind of the early years where we were still figuring out strategies and who we're going after and everything like that.
The military's been military's been practicing Cold War era stuff for decades. Dude.
Yeah, true.
Big miso operation, big silly outdated things that aren't really up with the times, dude. Our training for Fallujah, which is literally the OK Corral, we were doing SASO operations, safety and stability operations, or something like that. I think that's what the acronym is. But basically, we're at March Air Force Base. We're like, supposed to be like patrolling around. Basically, like, essentially, what it broke it down to is like martial law. There was no way that was happening in Fallujah. Like, we went there like completely not unprepared, just it was just not exactly what we were training for in the past few months. It was completely different.
I heard this analogy from somebody who served in both Kosovo and Iraq, is the early years of Iraq, especially after the Saddam regime was initially like kind of overtaken or whatever, and we obviously had the footprint in Iraq, was the operations, the stability operations. People were approaching it like it was Kosovo, and just we're looking at it as like, okay, it's going to be more humanitarian effort. It's going to be more just helping, get aid out there and reestablish a government and things like that. And it was like, no, that's nothing like what was experienced, and nobody was prepared for it.
Yeah, for sure. Found out very quickly what happens when you invade someone's place and they're like committed to not leaving, committed to whatever belief system they have. So, definitely nothing punkish about that army,
Yeah, true.
So I guess I have a question written down, but I have a question before this question. throughout like your entire 15, it was 15 years total, right? 15 or 16?
15 and a half. Yeah.
Years total. Like what era, especially being in that long from 2003 to 2018, you know, there's a lot that has happened in both Iraq and Afghanistan, also in Syria, some things happening in Africa as well. Like what era kind of shaped you into who you've become now?
I mean, the answer almost is like all of them. They all kind of like share different perspectives, but my greatest lessons from the military wasn't what I learned overseas. It's what I experienced at home.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really when I came back from my last deployment in 2016. It like basically broke me off. You know, that was the biggest lesson. And that lesson for me was in that deployment, dude, I was working 18+ hour days. I was constantly stressed out. I was a senior dude, so I'm on like 3 different cell phones coordinating airstrikes and, you know, troop movements. I'm on the phone. I'm sending emails. I'm telling generals to go eat sand. Like I'm calling in all sorts of support, and it was really an intense time, you know, and managing all those teams, not all by myself, but being a dude who was there with them. Now I'm just watching them on the big screen TV. That was extremely stressful for me because it's a lot of responsibility, and I refused to like let any people down. So that was a big breaking point for me. I came back from the deployment, and dude, I was just done. I had all these telltale signs before that, during my workup, during the deployment before that, of just like my body kind of shutting down from like all this like added stress and really just stress and discomfort to my body, my soul through all these deployments. And I came back, dude, after my job was done, and it was game over for me, dude. It was a downhill spiral, and it really started getting bad for me when I started talking about it more, because I put it off for so many years. Like I remember probably 4 years before this story I'm even telling right now, I went up to my medical guy and I'm like, I was telling him I had some issues, but I needed my package signed because I was trying to go to selection for a special missions unit. And he's like, well, you're scheduled to go to the TBI clinic. He's like, if you go, I'm just letting you know, and they find anything, it's probably going to affect you for selection. I'm like, oh, screw that then. I'll just do this later. I'm more focused over here. I was more focused on outside than I was inside. And then I quickly realized that, you know, nothing exists without me. Those goals don't exist if I'm not here. Those dreams don't exist if I'm not there to even pursue them. And my body just like crashed, dude. So all those years of just like knocking on my door, I just wasn't listening. I didn't even know what to listen to. I was so focused on everything else outwardly, and coming back and completing that like mission. It was a big thing for me too. I was the youngest master sergeant in the Marine Corps history. I was the youngest dude in charge of a special operations company, let alone the youngest guy in charge of like a whole like section of northern Iraq. So there was a lot of like going up this like pinnacle for me. And then I was able to like complete my mission with my team, and just like had an amazing like opportunity to like share that with them and support them. And when my job was done with that, dude, that was just like, it was just like completely fell on my face. So it was definitely the climax right before the fall.
Do you think it was because that's a like you said, a lot of stress, a lot of weight on your shoulders, and just all of it kind of balling up and culminating? Do you think you got to a point where it was relieving, or do you think when you finally let that stress kind of hit you, it more compounded in a sense that like it made that transition a little bit harder?
Yeah, it wasn't just like the stress alone, right? So I was like basically like my stress receptor, you know, like everything from like my cortisol to my sleep, like my brain and my body were just shutting down completely. My TBI effects I got shot in the helmet on my very first deployment at 18. I've been blown up a few times at this point in my life. So all my TBIs, all my traumatic brain injuries, all my injuries that I was complaining about already in the Marine Corps previously in years were all catching up to me now. So it was literally my mind, body, and spirit shutting down all at once. So I was taking ranger naps 24/7, dude. I remember I was still on deployment. I was doing this during training too before I even deployed. I had like 10 minutes before another brief for another meeting, and I would just go sit on a chair by the coffee table, dude. And I just like curl up in a ball and just like try to get a quick little ranger nap in. And like people thought I was like just like, you know, you know the deal. Like, oh, you're a senior guy. You obviously can't be fucking tired. You know, you obviously can't take a ranger nap. Like, it's just kind of these kind of stupid rules and stigmas. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I'm about to crash right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so all these things, all these breadcrumbs, I just wasn't picking up on. And so, yeah, dude, I remember having a meeting with the general. I was back in the States, and like the meeting was just about to be done. And I had to bolt out of there, run downstairs, and like hop on this couch, dude. And I was out for like 4 hours, bro. Like my body was like, you know what? You don't want to listen to us all those years before, bro. So you're going to pay up now. And when I started to like, you know what? You know, I'm trying to get my sleep fixed because clearly I'm tired, right? Well, then it shows me my brain's shutting down. I'm like, oh, great. Let me get my brain worked on. Oh, by the way, my knee's going out. You know, it was just like all these different things. Like you start pulling back the Band-Aid, or like Chevy Chase, I think is his name. You pulling the gum outside the dam on that one movie, Vegas Vacation, or whatever.
Yeah.
The water just starts coming in. That's really what was happening in my life. And, you know, dude, I was doubting everything. I lost confidence, insecure, dude, all sorts of shit. Just like, just mush. From like 100 to 0. And it didn't help from going from a high stress environment. My last rotation, I came back and I was a senior leader in charge of a section of our schoolhouse. And so I went from like 100 miles an hour to like literally a made up position. And I'm just like, what? Like there's nothing to keep you going. So now that you have to sit there with your thoughts, now you have to sit there with like your body slowing down and life kind of catching up to you. It was very hard. And that's really where everything started to change in my life.
Well, that's, you know, I'll just make a comment. Like within special operations, you kind of hit all of, I think, the wave of emotions, responsibilities, the just physical things that are draining on your body and on your spirit too. Just, it happens to so many people, but it's really easy. Like what happened to you, where your medic was like, "Hey, if you go get checked for TBI, it'll probably disqualify you for selection." It happens all the time. I was actually just talking when we went to another podcast, Mentors for Mill. We were talking to somebody who was still active duty, and I won't say exactly where, but still active duty. And we were talking about this, and he was like, "Yeah, I would love to say that things have gotten better and they've changed, but in reality, when you're in one of these special operations units, like." If you say, hey, I need to have, a day mental break, or, hey, I need to go talk to somebody or something, or I need to take a week off just to let my body recoup, like that's not an acceptable answer for the most part, still within special operations. And it's
actually too bad.
Yeah. It's
we all need that as humans.
We do. And I think, it's easy for people on the outside to kind of be like, well, yeah, that's what you signed up for. Or even on the inside to be like, well, yeah, that's what you signed up for and it's okay. Like you got to push through it and you got to figure it out. But like as a human being, when you look at the psychology, how your brain works, how your body works, things like that, how they're all interconnected, like you can't support that for a long time. You're eventually going to crash and burn at a point to where it'll permanently damage your body.
But see, this all comes down to education. And one thing I realized is that, I didn't give up on myself why I was like going through and like low crawling through this shit. I was just a complete asshole. I was like a horrible person. Like I was just a toxic, just like, like not understanding why my body was doing all these things were happening to me and seeing everything change. But I still fought for myself because I realized that no one's going to give me help if I don't speak up. And my breaking point was, dude, I remember I would get phone calls from like the Purple Heart Association or something like that. They call me every year. I remember that one time they called me and they're like, "Oh, do you need any help?" I'm like, "Yes, I need some fucking help." Like I was at work, dude, and I was just having a shit day and I hated everything, dude. I hated everything. And this is still years before the end of my career. Years that my body was purging. My body was telling me, "Bro, listen to me, bro, listen." And I got tired of shotgunning these things. He's like, "Hey, you come back from your pre-deployment health assessment and you just like line that shit out." And I'm just like, fuck you, bro. Like my knee hurts. I'm tired. Sometimes my dick don't work. Like sometimes I'm just like super sleepy. I went down the list. I'm like, dude, I'm tired of hiding. And then I started to get help. And people are like, how the fuck did you do that? I'm like, dude, I was on testosterone for like, I don't know, 6 years in the Marine Corps. In the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And people are like, how'd you get on that? I'm like, I asked. I'm like, dude, I'm told them all my things. And I realized that it wasn't affecting me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm very fortunate to go through all these hardships, what I call a hardship or a struggle, or whether it's mental or physical in my life, because it helped me dispel a lot of these rumors.
Yeah.
Same thing like guys talk about, I can't talk about mental health issues. I'm not going to get my clearance. Bro, I had the highest clearance you can get, and they renewed it while I was on my medical board. I still kept all my stuff. You know, you can be on, I don't promote or I don't encourage pills. However, if you're that desperate and you think that's really going to change your life, you can still get on that and still deploy. You have to be on like a 90-day period to make sure you don't go crazy or something, right? Mm-hmm. There's ways to get mental health, but really it's the onus is on us as the dudes and the chicks in these units. But the thing is, I remember how hard it was for me, and I was a fucking 3-year master sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
Like raising my hand saying I need a break, raise my hand saying I don't understand, raise my hand saying this is bullshit. And I remember being at a mental health conference while I was still in uniform, and I and I was telling my story, and I'm like, how do you think our E5s and our E3s feel that have been in the unit maybe 1 month, maybe 1 year, that are not even like a quote unquote team person, they're a support person. Who's to say they don't have trauma in their life? They don't have PTSD, they don't have depression, they don't have issues. And when they speak up, they're like, oh, you don't do anything, so you can't have anything. And it's this horrible mindset, but it really comes down to education. Mm-hmm. When you're told to shut up, right? I was always that dude that like sergeant majors would come up to me and be like, don't raise your hand when the general says if anyone's got a question. I'd raise my fucking hand. Because you're not going to learn if you don't do these things. And if you fucking live in fear of people telling you what not to do, at the end of the day, you have to accept your own fucking fate. You have to accept the reason why you're in that shitty position. And so I started to speak up. I always spoke up for myself, but now I started to speak up for myself for like mental health and wellness and all this type of shit. And, you know, and it started to change dynamics. And then now I was able to be a voice in my unit to talk about mental health and typical dudes though. And I get it. You know, that's why I talk about all this shit. Like, yeah, I had sometimes my dick didn't work. I had no sex drive. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I wasn't eating. I was losing weight, all this shit. And people are like, oh, I don't have those issues. And those are the same fucking dudes that come up to me in private. And I'm like, okay. But I want to tell you with my voice that, you know, it's okay to like bring up issues, bro. You can't, you know, I was so brainwashed inside, dude. I have a gold tooth and I think it's super, super rad. And I got in the Marine Corps. I'm like, damn, you can get gold teeth? I'm like, sign me up. And I
always wanted a gold canine. I wanted that for a while.
Well, I was sitting on the couch at my buddy's house. We moved in with him as I knew I was on the process to retire at it. I just didn't know if I was going to be accepted, approved, or how long it was going to take. So we started to already downsize our life, and we're living in with a friend now. And I remember sitting on this couch, dude, and I would just grind my teeth all the time, just from stress. My butt would be clenched, and I didn't even know why. I didn't even know why my butt was clenched. And
you're just puckered 24/7.
24/7, dude. I was always engaged and not even knowing it. You know, I tried to hold my wife's hand, and she's like, God, let go. I'm like, what? She's like, you're gripping my hand apart. I'm like, my bad. Like, I didn't know. And so my body was just this tense thing. And anyways, I cracked my tooth and I didn't even know it. It just hurt to like breathe and drink water and all that type of stuff. And it was like 2 days that went by and I was just going to suck it up. Mm-hmm. I thought that maybe time would heal this. That's how stupid I was. That's how limited my capacity to get help was, because I'm like, I was afraid now because I was getting all this other help. I can't have another issue. You know, this can't be true. And so luckily I was able to get into I was doing some medical stuff, and I told my friend who was like the civilian at the front desk, he's like, oh, let's get you back here, get you checked out by the dentist. And sure as shit, they're like, bro, you cracked your tooth. I'm like, is it going to grow back? They're like, no, it's got to go. I'm like, what? So I felt like I was getting a tattoo I didn't want. I felt like I was just getting rushed to the chair and they're like drilling in my mouth. But he made it better when he said gold tooth. I'm like, let's go hard with this. You know what I'm saying? Let's do this. So
it's funny though, because you say that you neglected that. I mean, I had the same thing. I was never in the military, but to give you an example, like I did that with a root canal where it's like, oh, my tooth kind of hurts. It'll be fine. I'll wait a week or two and it'll be fine. Months go by. And then you go and get checked in. Like, well, too late to fill it. Like, I got to do a root canal. But it's interesting how my point is with that is that I think that especially us men, are very stubborn with a lot of things in life. And I can almost expect that to be heightened when you're in the military and you're surrounded by just nothing but testosterone and ego and self-pride, to where it comes to a point to where none of us want to be advocates of mental health. None of us probably want to admit that we have something wrong with us that we need to deal with. So I think it is important, like you said, to be that example, to raise your hand and ask questions and try and figure out how we can work on ourselves independently, because that's going to motivate others around us to want to do the same.
Dude, absolutely, man. Like, you know, I wasn't always the best leader. You know, I definitely made some bad leadership calls in my time growing up. And, you know, whether that's comparable to anyone else, it doesn't matter. That was my story. I wasn't always the perfect, the best thing. I wasn't always the best example. But when it came to like looking out for people, dude, you can't look out for people if you don't even know how to look out for yourself. It's just not true. That's why you have shitty half-assed leaders out there, that they do an okay job in combat, but they're shitty in the rear because they have a shitty life that they won't admit, or they're having a shitty hard time in their life that they're not admitting. And like, how is this why is this such a big thing, dude? And I remember some of my closest friends in my unit coming up to tell me when they found out that I was on this medical board process. And, you know, I asked my boss, my senior boss at the time, like, hey, dude, I need no responsibility. And he was like fucking mind blown. I'm like, dude, I need to fucking get removed from this position and put someplace where I can hide out until they figure out if I'm getting out of the Marine Corps or not. Like, I need as little responsibility as possible. Like, I need to de-stress my life. You can't say, when you know stress is killing you, you can't add shit to your plate. When you know your plate's full, you have to get rid of it. So I literally had to like come up to these people and like beg them. Luckily, I had an amazing, like a master guns, an amazing colonel that like at the schoolhouse that I was like one of the first dudes to like do this. And luckily, I guess I had a bunch of street cred, but I wasn't going to take no for an answer, dude. Like, I was a dude that went to the Journal, like requested mass for like $1,800 because I was getting doc paid, like my jump paid doc. Like, I'm not going to let someone screw me over, dude.
Yeah. Let
alone other people. So I'm going to fight for myself. And I'm just really proud of myself today looking back, because in those times in my life, I was really low. I was really desperate. But looking back now, I'm very appreciative that I used my voice while I still had a chance in uniform. Because once you get out, people think you're fucking hippie and you're like out there. But in that uniform, bro, I was still a fucking Titan. I'm still a Titan today. I just wear a different uniform. And I knew if I didn't take advantage of that opportunity while I was in, there was gonna be fucking more people lost, dude. Like, ever since I've been out, I just been helping like stack these dudes, like early retirement, VA shit, you know, like telling you, dude, you can cry if you want to. It's okay to be a fucking dude and have feelings.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers think that you have to be a robot. Bitch, real warriors back in the day before our time was ever conceived of were fucking painters. They were artists. They were teachers. They were lovers. They were musicians. They were all these things that when the call to arms was called, they rose.
Yep.
You don't think they had feelings? They didn't have compassion? They didn't have things happen to them that weren't always fucking mainly 24/7? You know what I'm saying? Like, it blows my mind how we forget, but I understand too, because you don't know what you don't fucking know. You don't even know. Everyone thinks, hey, I can't put that on my physical because I'm never going to get the job at the agency, or I'm never going to get this job here. You're never going to get this clearance if I fucking say this. I'm like, who told you that? You know, it's like the rumor mill from hell, or it's like, you can't do that because it came from some top dog and people's infatuation of people thinking that everyone is like truthful in their ways and their words, you know, they're like, oh, I really did everything. Did you really try everything? You know, because when I got to be old enough, right, I promoted enough to like be in a leadership position where I was now in that circle of, hey, I tried my best. I know what trying your best can really do. And I know what lip service can do also. And once you start removing yourself from that lip service, you're like, dude, no one's going to take care of my team but me. You know, no one's going to take care of this issue with me but me. Like, when you realize that the onus is on you, it changes everything. But it's hard to swallow because you have to let go of that pride. You have to let go of that fake armor, because real armor is inside you, not what you put on the outside. Not your medals, your uniform, your fucking beret, none of that shit. It's on the inside. That's what makes that position, that job fucking great, is the inside you, you know? And it's just,
it's your soul.
I did not see that until many years later.
You know, so we're kind of talking about it a little bit, but I do want to talk specifically about your transition, especially out of the military. Because I know, you know, when we interviewed you for the book, you had talked about how you got involved with the Warrior Care Coalition. I know it got rebranded. It's called something else
No,
now.
that's what it is now. I think it was called something else
Soft Care
prior.
Coalition.
Yeah,
Soft Care. Okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
But how did that kind of organization help you, and especially I guess taking it from your perspective, going through it? Like, what would be your advice for people, especially coming out of some sort of special operations unit in transition? What's your advice to people like that?
Yeah, for sure. So the Warrior, we'll just call it what it is now, the Warrior Care Coalition. Each special operations organization has one. They all have a rep, whether it's a civilian or they have like a military liaison, a uniform person in there. And essentially what that is, they help you get connected to like, hey, I'm transitioning out, or like, hey, I broke my arm and I'm on limited duty for a year. Well, if you're ever in a special operations organization, you've been deployed and you've been injured, wounded, or ill, so you could get sick, and it's in your record book, you meet the requirement to utilize these programs or these grants that exist there. And the thing is, these are the same people that go to these meetings that people don't want to go to because they're too busy, or you don't hear about it. So not enough guys really hear about it when I've talked to a lot of the team dudes, because the senior leaders are either not passing information or not being told either. And you don't know, you never invested in anything unless you try it. So the Warrior Care Coalition has access to other nonprofits that can support you while you're active duty. And so Operation Healing Forces is one of those approved nonprofits that I was able to, basically what they do, they provide soft couples and their families like an all-inclusive kind of retreat getaway for a week. And, I had to open up to this because I was still playing that like, there's someone who needs it more than me. There's someone, all this type of shit. And then I just like, dude, I'm not that person, right? I have to just do this. And so my wife and I signed up for it. And, I was there with a Green Beret guy, 2 Green Berets, and a Ranger. And, dude, it was such a great opportunity. We were able to go skiing. That we were in Vail, Colorado. So this retreat was for like a week in Vail, Colorado. Everything is all included and inclusive.
Such a beautiful place too, to have a retreat.
And I've never been to a place like that before, you know? And so it was like, event. It's basically a place where you can just like, no responsibility. There's events planned. Like we went skiing, snowmobiling. We had like, world-class instructors to help us ski. We had great catered food or a nice restaurant we went to. And that whole experience on the outside, you're like, damn, that's nice. Very cushy. But what it really provided for my wife and I was no responsibility. Like literally every timeline was created for us. Every transportation was created for us. Our food was created for us. Like literally we had to do nothing but show up. There was no forced like kumbaya. There was no nothing. It was just planned events that brought the couples together. And really how this shit happens by default, people talk. And the spouses got to speak and realize that, fuck, they're not alone going through all the hardships that their husbands are putting them through. And the husbands are able to talk. And, some dudes were, a civilian, a veteran. Other dudes are still active duty. And I found out because of this opportunity, I found out about this brain treatment they were doing, this test treatment they're doing for soft dudes in Tampa called MERT, this like electromagnetic stuff. I found out about that from this dude at that event. So like, it's just a great opportunity where you can really connect and decompress. And that really gave us the opportunity to relax and know what can be and what we can aim for. And really for me as a uniform person, dude, I was sending out emails everywhere. I'm like, bro, if you're an admin person, sign up for this shit. I'm like, you got to stop thinking that someone fucking, you have to miss an arm or be shot out in combat to experience stuff. Like they're losing funding because there's not enough people signing up for it, because enough dudes and chicks are like, I'm too busy, or I don't rate. And it's all these stigmas, dude. And now I still follow that page because I support them. And I see like all my friends and some other guys from other units show up. And it's like, it's really good to see these guys, because that's how we help and spread the message. We go experience it ourselves and we go spread that message. Like, hey, dude, like you don't have to wait till you're transitioning out. You can go do this 3 years in advance, 4 years in advance. The thing in the Marine Corps or the military where people just get it confused is like, if you meet the requirement, you meet the requirement. Stop making up rules. And that helped me transition out, because like I said, I found out that this next follow-on treatment, this magnetic treatment for my brain in Florida, and that was a significant game changer for me for transitioning out of the military. And I never would have known about it if I didn't take that opportunity to go through that door and try this, kind of getaway retreat.
And that was something that you said when we were in person, and maybe it was your wife's idea to do this retreat, but I think I remember you telling me that, you guys moving into a van and traveling, and then her encouraging you to go through this, was what helped save your life.
Yeah, for sure. And my marriage,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Florida doing this brain treatment, and I found word like, hey, I got approved for my board. They found me unfit for duty, and now I just had to submit for my retirement. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, and then she posed me the questions. Hey, you got like 6 months left to live. What do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know, but let's just move. And I wanted to take pictures and drive around. And so I'm like, fuck it, let's try something completely different. That's exactly what we did. And I was able to leave the military a little bit better than I was transitioning out, because I was getting lost in like a single bedroom apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I had to sell my motorcycles. I was falling off the motorcycles stationary. I wasn't turning them off. I was never putting my kickstand down. I was falling, dude, just everything about me, how I could function, I wasn't able to function that way anymore. And it was really a shock to my mental system, because everything about me was changing. And so I'm like, well, fuck, I need to make a drastic change to match this change happening. Because if I try to do something that's based on my norm, I'm going to be disappointed, because it's just simply not going to be the case right now for me. And it really we're very grateful that it all kind of worked out. This is right before, like I say, vans were super popular, but vans were not as popular as they are now. We were able to get one and afford one, and that really helped propel us to, I call it the journey to my soul, the journey to find myself.
Yeah.
And my wife was extremely supportive during that whole process.
How cool is it? And I think Dan knows this by how many road trips I've done, but I'm a huge advocate of being outdoors and how much that can mentally really save and change someone's life. It does for me anyways, and I'm sure you can relate, but like, how great is it to spend any day on the road, not really have an itinerary besides maybe I want to go to point A to point B today, and I want to photograph here. There's just something so incredible about that feeling. And I honestly wish I could live that every day. Obviously we're adults, we got to pay bills, we're doing other things. And I'm not sure if you guys are still traveling with your van or not, but I really encourage everybody to, if you can, find ways to travel, even if it's a few hours to go camping or just be outdoors. It really is a mental break from your everyday life.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't that motivated. I was really desperate for survival.
Mm-hmm.
I was very desperate for just moments in my day that I wasn't like just imploding inside. So I didn't really value, and the greatest thing about my experience in the van is I didn't value it at the very beginning, because I didn't value myself.
Mm-hmm.
And as I started to peel back my layers of, okay, these are things that are happening to me, that's great, but who am I? Who is this person that's feeling all these shit? I've never asked myself these questions. And the van allowed me to, I'm like, I'll go drive around in the van and take pictures. Okay, that's just the gateway. What I do at that time was the true medicine. That was the true like helping hand in the healing process. And it was really just to be detached from all my belongings and all these things that I was attached to, and I had no choice but to separate myself. And then, we go around and I take pictures. I was really fascinated with nighttime, like nighttime photography. I don't know why. I just really enjoyed it. And that was kind of like my thing. I really enjoyed that. It really helped me kind of free my mind. But, I wasn't very planned and methodical in the van. We never really had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it was the best thing we ever did.
Yep.
Because for 15 years, bro, I was slave to a plan.
Mm.
And I needed radical change, because the telltale signs were undeniably pointing me in that direction. Like, bro, how many more signals do you need to see? Change your life.
Yeah.
And that was really the opportunity for me to really start that. And it led me to other things in life and other opportunities that I can honestly say I don't think I'd be afforded them or really being able to action them if I went any other path in life.
Well, and one of those really cool opportunities, I would say, for you going forward from that experience, for people listening, maybe some people are watching the video and they can see you. You're obviously heavily tattooed. You've got great ink. You're an artistic guy, and you went on to start up your own company, We Defy the Norm. What was the inspiration behind that?
So I knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I was in this, like, I wanted to call the company like Defy the Norm. Like it's in my head. It popped in there, but I'm just like, long story short, it didn't work out. And the we came about because I'm like, fuck yeah, we is united, we is together. I'm like, okay, dope. All right, boom. And then my logo, honestly, the whole concept of We Defy the Norm, I came off my very first psychedelic trip with a psilocybin, and I was really processing not only my personal life, but just like all these downloads I was receiving, right? All these messages to myself from whoever, from whatever, right? And it told me to move this way. And that's what I did. I started to listen to myself in life and stop second guessing myself, especially in this new version of myself that I was creating. So I really wanted to spread a message, find a way to spread a message to people and be my true self. And literally We Defy the Norm is an opportunity for me to liberate myself every time I get a chance to talk, every time I get a chance to spread what I believe in as beliefs, as what values are to me. And it's the best thing I've ever done in my life, dude.
That's awesome.
I love it. I'm so grateful of it.
Well, I personally want to take the step and support you. Obviously, I want to pick up some t-shirts because you guys, I've looked at the designs and I remember seeing them in person when you had the warehouse, at least a temporary one in North Carolina, and you've got some great designs. And I think it's really cool when I follow along on Instagram. I know Dan does too. When we see the motivational messages, the things that you're doing to help support not only the community, but veterans. And I think that for people listening that want to help support it, they definitely should go check out We Defy the Norm.
Yeah, I appreciate that. My message is to people, right? That's why that's how you and I can relate. You and I can relate to the same things because it's not like if you break your leg and I break my leg, it's not how we broke it. It's that we broke it.
Yep.
Right. And through that pain of breaking our legs, we can connect. You know, it doesn't matter if I did it falling off a tree and you did it falling down a hill on a bicycle. The fact is you broke it. I bet it hurt.
Yep.
And so I'm just very appreciative of being able to connect with people in that way because I love vets. I will always love veterans. Veterans have my heart because I've been the victim veteran before. I've been the lowest of the low, and I know what it's like to be alone and afraid. I know what it is like. And so I can relate completely to that community. But I'm also a fucking human being, and I can relate to that community. And I do my best to merge the two. And because it's important. I never want to feel like I'm segregating anybody because my message is truly just empowering yourself, becoming your best version of yourself, speaking your truth, freeing yourself, right? Doing what is best for you. What is your calling? And you don't have to have any background to have a belief. You don't have to have any calling or like any history or past experiences, to become literally anything in this life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I think that's such a powerful concept that I hope like whoever's listening to this connects to that the most, because I think it's really easy for, we talk about it all the time, for veterans to be up on this mantle or for veterans to look at themselves as different than others. But I think it's really important this is about any classification of person that we put a box around somebody and we say, this is that person, is to connect more on a human level and to find the common ground and the commonalities and things that we can talk about. We don't have to talk about negative things and things we disagree about all the time. Like, let's talk about things we agree on, and let's talk about things that we can be motivated by each other in what we're doing in the world. And I think that's honestly where a lot of veterans and our, my focus largely is in the veteran community, but that's where veterans can kind of take the step up and say, all right, I've been in uniform for so long, however many years. I'm transitioning into the civilian world. How do I connect with civilians? How do I get to a point to where I can transfer some of my knowledge, but I can also be open to them sharing their experiences and their knowledge with me? And I think when you get to that point, that's when really you have this like opportunity to make something beautiful. And so it's really cool to hear you say that, to be like, yes, my heart's always with veterans, but that's not my sole focus. I want to focus on all humans. And I think that's where, again, veterans, no matter what company you're starting up or entrepreneurial idea or organization you're getting involved in, like, don't cut off everybody else. Like, where we're most powerful is when we bring everybody together.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, I'm learning, I know nothing about this lifestyle that I'm in now. My wife and I just closed on some property, and I don't know even how to like go into the woods and grab a tree. Like I don't know what areas I just don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
To go,
But I can plan a mission to like do some like work.
yeah.
But
But only
you
very
can figure all
linear.
that out.
Only very linear.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much more in life. And if you only focus on like that shit, and if you're not willing to open yourself to humility and to like let go of the pride and be like, you know, I've asked grown men, you know, I'm like, hey dude, how much is a cord of wood? Like I never grew up this way. So I don't even know. I had to ask how to use 4-wheel drive, like, you know, not too many years ago, you know, I never was experienced to that. And, but that's the key to anything. Dude, you have to ask questions. Who cares
Mm-hmm.
if you look dumb? You know,
Yeah.
better than looking dumb. You know, it's worse than looking dumb. Being dead. You know, like not even participating. That's worse than looking dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like having unanswered questions. That's worse than looking dumb. So it's just like, well, get over yourself, bro. You're never going to find answers to anything if you don't ask. You're never going to try new things unless you try new things. You're never going to
Mm-hmm.
learn a new way until you try something different, you know? And my wife gave me the best advice, and I use it every day, and I spread it to as many people that want to listen to. If whatever you're doing isn't working, do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And if you compartmentalize your life and think that you are the end all be all and that people should, you know, hoist you up because of your past experience, you are a sad person inside, and you're missing out on the greatest opportunity that you have right now, and that's called life, because there's so much more life outside the scope of viewing, and it narrows so many like windows of opportunity by not expanding yourself. And it's very sad to see. And I'm seeing a lot of people, you know, I have a lot of special operations or military people follow me, a lot of law enforcement, but I'm seeing a lot of people, not even in the military, respond back and having some of the same issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't let go of their yesterday. You know, I was a football stud. Well, you're not today. You're whoever you were when you showed up the day to play football.
Mm-hmm.
You're still that same stud. You're just not the football stud. You're just a stud. There's no difference. You just have to repurpose your direction, refocus your actions, and it's a lot easier said than done. And I never would have been able to have those like acknowledgments of my own truths if I didn't get to literally kind of sacrifice my old way of living and not being afraid to like, okay, that doesn't work, try something different. Oh, that doesn't work, try something different. And it wasn't easy, and it's not easy. And I can understand why men and women don't want to do it, but you know, at the end of the day, after, you know, I have fears of stuff, right? I have fears that I won't be the greatest. That's why I work hard every day and I try to get through my crap. And, you know, I want to be the best version of myself because it's not just about me. You know, everyone suffers with the doubt myself, the imposter syndrome, the maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm having a bad day. Everyone deals with this.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to literally go around life and look at everyone as a potential liar. Do they really lie? Maybe not with their mouth outwardly, but do they lie to inwardly? Do they lie to themselves? And what is that causing them? What's that doing to them? And I know what that did to me. It made me a horrible person. I made myself a horrible person by lying to myself over and over again, thinking that my one way of thinking was the only way. I'm like, this isn't the way, bro. And stripping myself away from the van, you know, living in a small life, away from all of my belongings and possessions, really having the opportunity to really just take time for myself and to be fluid in experiences, dude. That's what people miss, whether you're military or civilian. It's just the experiences, because they're just so stuck on their whatever track they're on right now. And I think that's it. It's not.
Well,
go ahead.
That kind of perfectly leads into what I wanted to ask next, because you know, you talk about a lot of the benefits, like physically, mentally, emotionally, of psilocybin, especially going through like the experiences of removing your ego and really processing like who you are. But there's like the stigma around what it is, because in majority of the states, it's considered a, you know, illegal drug. It's federally illegal. However, there's a lot of research, including within the VA, of using psilocybin now for recovery, especially with PTS. And so, you know, through your experiences, I guess, what benefits have you gotten from it, and what would you say to others to kind of try and dispel some of those narratives that are out there that it's such an evil thing?
First off, you have to understand what's backed by money. Pharmaceuticals always backed by money. So let me put it this way. This is why I'm very grateful for all the shit that I endured and all the sandwiches that I ate that were just pile of poo-poo. And I remember one of them, I went up to one of the officers one day. I'm like, yo, dude, give me something to keep me awake or I'm going to go fucking do meth. Like I straight up made a commitment, like give me something that's going to get me cranking going or I'm going to go find a way to do meth. I was that desperate to be awake. I was collapsing, dude. I was just, everything about it was hard, right? It was just changing. So I was on like all these 3 different uppers. And I was going to a sleep specialist, all this type of thing. And I kept on telling them like, hey, these aren't working. And they just wanted to give me more. They wanted to give me more. And I'm just like, but it's not working. He's like, can you give me more? And then I remember getting off him one day. I'm like, fuck this. It's killing myself. Even though I was taking uppers, not antidepressants. And I told this doctor, this civilian doctor, I'm like, hey, dude, I stopped that stuff. He's like, what do you mean you stopped it? When you start peeling back the onion in that conversation, they don't make money when you're not filling their scripts. Yep. And when their whole education system is telling you that this thing does this thing, that's what they're going to push. Why wouldn't they?
Yep.
So once again, it's the whole game of you only know what you know. And so when it comes to plant medicine, I've heard of these stories before. I just was obviously in the military and I was never really ready to like experience that type of stuff, right? I didn't view it as, when I got introduced to plant medicine, it was for healing properties. I was being called to it to heal. And I think for people out there who have the stigma about plant medicine, whether that's, I'm a proponent of it all, man, because it's all about the mindset. It's like cannabis. You can use cannabis to heal your anxiety, but you can also give yourself anxiety with cannabis by doing the shit that gives you anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Like it's anything. It's like, oh, wine is soothing. Sure, wine can lower your blood pressure, but you drink a whole fucking bottle, you're gonna get drunk, and you're gonna have all these other issues in your life. So it's just like you have to get past this stigma of these things. Like you're the culprit. We're always the culprit of everything. And so we have to let go of that programming that it's the devil thing. Dude, it grows naturally. How is that? What? Why is that illegal? And if you can't get over that hump, get over like, hey, what are you willing to do to change your life?
Well, I remember,
because that's really.
I was just going to add a point to what you're saying, because I remember when you and I met up, I was talking to you and opening up to you about how I've done a lot of research on DMT, ayahuasca, all those things that I've been personally wanting to try for myself, because I feel like there's a lot of, lack of a better term, baggage in my life from childhood into teenage years, things that I want to reflect on, that I want to push through and just figure out, to the meat and bones who Bo is. And get through those things. And you kind of opened up my mind to the comfort of it all. And I mean, I'll probably throw you under the bus a little bit, but I remember you breaking out a whole box and you had everything right there. And I was like, fuck, how much time do I have? Because I was so invested in that second of listening to somebody like you, who I would call a professional in that, a scope of lifestyle that I've never experienced before. And just kind of understanding that there's much more than just putting pills in your body that are going to destroy you.
Well, once you look at there's much more to your life than what you're currently dealing with, that should cause curiosity even deeper, right? Once you know that you're destined for more, that your life is not merely to suffer, to go through your traumas, to be your traumas, to deal with a silent war inside your mind, no matter how happy or smile you have or how much money you have in life, and then you die one day. Once you say like, you know what, there's got to be more to this. There has to be a reason why I'm here. There has to be why I'm 1 in a 400 trillion chance to be alive. When you start bringing it down that way, you're like, holy shit, maybe there are opportunities. Maybe there are different things out there. And, everything comes with the price of fear. Going to a school that you've always wanted to go to, fear, you have to overcome it. Asking someone on a date, fear, you have to overcome it.
Yep.
Bettering yourself, fear, you have to overcome it. And when it comes to plant medicine, people like, oh man, I tripped balls and I couldn't get out of the kitchen. You have to understand, when you're hanging out with idiots, you're going to be led by idiots. Your wisdom that they're going to be spreading is going to be idiotic. And that's okay if that's what you want. But it's just like, everything's about setting, everything's about intention, right? If you abuse your wine, you're going to get drunk. If you abuse your weed, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going to happen to you? Like, you're going to be dependent. It's going to have a clause on you. Like, if you abuse your medication, the same shit's going to happen to you. So if you abuse the setting, that's the true key. And I think people that interact with people, they're like, oh, I was in high school or I was in college and I was on a beach or I was in a fucking movie theater. Like, yeah, you probably could have had a bad time. And then you spread that trauma, your trauma, to other people, and it scares them away because it's a powerful. I look at plant medicine as a fasted form, right? A consumable fasted form, because you can achieve the same things by fasting enough, right? By disciplining your body and cleansing yourself and detoxing yourself from the shit that we put into it. You can also do it and access different parts of your body and your brain by consuming psychedelics.
Yeah.
You change your whole life. But the thing is, people have to, if you're desperate enough to change, if you really want to grow, like you're like, man, I've tried everything and nothing's working. Well, guess what? You have to show up with the same mentality that you showed up for those, hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you disrespect something as powerful as nature, well, what do you expect is going to happen to you?
And it's interesting too, because when I met up with you, and mind you, if people listening, this is like 20-30 minutes into us meeting for the first time, I fully trusted you. I fully trusted the concept and idea of somebody that knows more about this subject than myself, and knowing that I would be okay in doing it, because it was kind of like the way that you were talking about it, the way that you were taking professionalism in it and not abusing it. It was more so kind of opening my mind to being like, yeah, that just reconfirms me of all the research I've done on these, psilocybin or psychedelics. And I think it was around the same time frame that my dad just had a full breakthrough with mushrooms, where he was microdosing for his disability, and he was doing it kind of slowly each week, building up, and then he had a full breakthrough. And I remember him calling me up and telling me, like, I saw good things, I saw bad things, I went through all of this, but I woke up and I had about a 6-hour trip on this thing, and I was just sitting out in the backyard looking at the city lights on the town. And I remember him telling me this experience, and I was like, that's great, because I could hear how happy my dad was and hear how much it was almost like a weight was lifted off his shoulders, but how it also helps his disability. And I'm just like, why isn't this talked about more? Like, why is this still, I get the religious side. I understand some people that are religious that kind of can't look past it. But I'm also like, I don't know. It all comes from the earth, like you said. And God created it one way or another, whether we want to deny it or not, whether you believe in God or not. I think it's an important thing to realize that it's created, it's here on earth. And from my personal experience of having the utmost respect for some of my Native American friends and their traditions, and then their culture of using medicinal or natural medicinal purposes, ayahuasca, peyote, all that. It's such a big thing that we just kind of avoid. And we want to go down the pharmaceutical route.
Because that's how you're indoctrinated.
We're so programmed and trained into that way that it's just like, oh, well, that's easy. And that's where that fear comes in. I think that fear becomes laziness. And it's almost like we're just so lazy and be like, I want to try this new thing, but it costs this much money and it costs this much time. I don't want to do that. So it's the same thing with, I want to do plant-based medicine, but I don't know where to get it. I don't know what to do. I don't want to do the research. So I'll just go to a doctor and get something prescribed.
Well, I think it's just like you were saying, the curiosity. Like you've got to be curious about, what are you trying to get out of whatever you're consuming. So if you're drinking alcohol to ease your nerves or whatever, like be more sociable and things like that, you have a few drinks. But if you're drinking to get drunk, then you're going to drink a bunch. Well, you should educate yourself too on, cannabis or on psilocybin or DMT,
all
whatever.
of it.
Anything you're going to try, and educate yourself on like, okay, well, what's the proper dosage? Like at what environment should I be in? Who can I go to talk about these types of things? And it's unfortunate that most plant-based medicines don't have doctors out there, but cannabis is getting more accepted.
Mushrooms is
nationally.
in some states now.
Yep, mushrooms in a few states. And so these things are definitely becoming, I guess, legalized even at a medical level. So hopefully more and more people are becoming curious, and they are trying to figure out, how can I become educated? But I guess my question for you is, Cody, is like, as a veteran, especially coming from that community, because it's hyper stigmatized, right? Like you can't you can't have any of these drugs in your system when you are going through, or you can't have consumed any of these drugs if you were trying to get a clearance, or at any time you could potentially have to take a urinalysis. So there's always like this fear in the back of your mind of, well, I'm a civilian now, this could still happen. I could get called back into the government for whatever reason, or I could lose my clearance if I'm, doing a contracting job or something like that. But I guess, what is your advice, or like how should veterans try and heal themselves? Should they still focus on, the doctors and things like that, or do you suggest like people do try and have that curiosity and see what works for them to ultimately heal themselves?
I mean, your security job doesn't exist without you. You're not going to keep it if you're not stable.
Yeah.
Your relationship's not going to stay without you. Your fucking kids aren't going to stay without you. Your pet dog is not going to stay without you. So at what time are you going to stop lying to yourself that shit's just going to magically happen, right? You have to put in work. Once you hit that phase line where you're conscious in life, where you're like, damn, I feel inside there's some issues, but I'm afraid to say them out loud. Once you get to that threshold, why are you stopping? There's a reason why you're thinking about that now. Let's continue to move forward, and let's see what happens, because you already know what happens if you don't even answer that call. You already know where you're going to end up at, the same fucking spot you're in now. And my advice to literally anyone that's interested in changing their current situation, they want more out of life. They're desperate. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to solve and clear all this negative energy and childhood trauma and ancestral trauma in their life, for their any of these things that are holding them back from becoming who they know they're here to become. Isn't that worth anything to you? Mm-hmm. Isn't that worth Googling? Isn't that worth reaching out to a nonprofit? For the veteran community, especially the special operations community, you have Heroic's Heart Project, which is their whole nonprofit is designed to help SOF veterans who are transitioning out or out of the military, go do these sanctioned, plant medicine trips, these different experiences, different opportunities, different ceremonies, retreats, to get a chance at life, to become a force multiplier. Because when you heal yourself, you can help others heal. But you can't do that pouring from an empty cup. So if you really think about the purpose of these leaders in any community, it's to be an army, be a lighthouse for the people around you.
Yeah.
And so it really just takes one to stimulate the next domino effect. And that's how this works. That's how, maybe the whole world's not going to get on the game, to get dosed, right? Maybe they're not all about that. But enough people that aren't afraid to speak their truth and aren't afraid to pursue who they are or who they think they are or who they think they can become. That's the groundbreakers. Those are the people that are paving these waves, and that can heal a community just by shifting perspective. You never knew a green apple existed if all you've been shown is a red apple your entire life. So if you can bring a green apple to a table that's only had red at it, dude, you can change everything about that table. You can change everything about them just by dropping a fucking apple. Dude, I found out that people will laugh, and that's okay. I did not know a pickle was a cucumber. I swear to God, did not know.
I don't think a lot of people do.
That's true. That's true.
That a pickle was a cucumber, dude, my mind was blown.
What the fuck?
I was just like, something so simple like that.
Just vinegar.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But think about that. Like, damn, turning this key this way isn't working. Well, have you tried it the other way? No. Oh, shit. We do it on a daily basis.
With everything, yeah.
With everything, even the smallest and the biggest of things. So what makes you think you're not doing to the smallest and biggest things inside your mind? That's how crazy our lives are. That's how powerful we all are. If we can start thinking in these multiple tiered layer perspectives, right? Looking past just the face value that we lie to ourselves, that people lie to us on, and we start digging and finding the root. Dude, we can heal ourselves and we can be actually happy, and the smile can match this person on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Or we don't have to resort back to looking at pictures of when we used to be happy, because we are fucking happy. We can make that happen. And psychedelics can truly help you heal yourself. It can open you up to your true authentic self. Whether you want to admit it or not, that's fine. But there's enough evidence out there. There's enough fact-based science out there to say this is true. There's a reason why they give it to people that are in these dying wards. They come to peace of themselves. They find peace and love. and they transition happier and peacefully when they were all tensed up. There's plenty of studies. LSD, DMT, ayahuasca, psilocybin, all of them.
Yeah.
Then you have to ask yourself, why is it illegal? Because if enough people, because everyone's a warrior inside. I don't care who you are. Everyone is a warrior inside. And just because you never went to war, combat, or you didn't get abused as a kid, doesn't mean you haven't gone through some hard shit in your life that you should be extremely proud of, and that could change someone else's life. That's where people forget. They think that their experiences no one gives a shit about, or their experiences can't really make an impact. That's simply not truth. It's not true at all. We were all born into this world, the portal of the vagina, 1 in 400 trillion chance. We're all fucking lucky. We can all change everything, but we have to change ourselves first. You change yourself first, you can fucking change everything around you. And you see this happen. You know, you've already been in situations where you hung out with shitty people. I know I have. And guess what? My actions were shitty. My thoughts were shitty. Everything about my life was shitty. The music I listened to was shitty. The words I was saying were shitty. All these things. And then when I shifted, my friends, I was like, damn, we're talking about growth, happiness, love, gratitude, these different things I used to gawk about. But then if I want to be conscious in my life and look back to my life where I was completely fucking miserable inside, living a lie, what was I doing? And plant medicine, what it helped me do, it helped me get over the crippling anxiety, that crippling depression to even want to get out of the fucking bed. It showed me a different opportunity that I didn't think that existed. And that opportunity was a chance. And if there's a chance to fail, there's a chance to succeed. And if you look at life that way, you'll fucking change everything about your life. You increase your chances of success by 50% by fucking trying. Now take that shit to the bank, because that just 5x your chances. Like out of 10, like you can change everything about it. And I can't tell you that I would be here today having these same conversations if it wasn't for psychedelics. Psychedelics really encouraged me to peel back my own layers and to find more and ask more deeply rooted questions about myself, and to be more honest with myself. Like, dude, you really were a dickhead today, or you really can do better than this stuff, bro. Like, what are you doing? You've come so far. Why are you doing this? I'm able to actually have conversations with myself and not shy away from myself. It helped me reconnect with my source, to the source, right? It helped me find myself, and it helped me see that, yo, bro, this doesn't mean you're free. Doesn't mean that everything's gonna be perfect in life. It just means now you have to show up every fucking day. If you want to be happy and you realize you're not happy today, you have to ask yourself why you're not happy. And when you're able to clear up that space, when you're able to heal that baggage in your mind, let go of that fucking trauma, let go of that fucking hate, discontent, and find love and light inside your life, you can start having these conversations with yourself and start processing everything different. So, for instance, if my wife and I used to get in a fucking fight, it took like weeks to heal from. Dude, now like minutes. We're moving past it. We're growing past it. And you're never going to rid things, but what it can do, you can grow as a person. And I found my soul. I found love for myself. I found an opportunity that I didn't even know was there. I found this different version of me that I spent years trying to hold on to the old me while I was trying to embrace this new version of me. And this new version of me was a fucking dude that wasn't determined by my past. I just used my past as wisdom and lessons to fucking help maneuver my life now by holding on to that shit like a fucking anchor, dragging me down to Davy Jones' locker, like a lot of our friends do, civilian or military, because it's easy, because comfort lies to us. And, psychedelics can help you see past this veil of illusion, because your eyes can only see what you've been programmed to see. Once again, the apple thing. If you didn't know a green apple existed, you would never know. Just like you would never know there's an opportunity outside of prescription pills or some type of treatment you're doing. Like the opportunities are endless out there. And if we can get past our fear of the unknown, we can step into who the fuck we're supposed to become. And that might take the rest of your life. But isn't that better than not even being on that fucking path? Isn't that better than not even fucking knowing? Isn't that better than just feeling like you don't even fucking matter in life? Like you're not even here for any fucking reason or purpose? I know I felt that way numerous times in my life. I can still feel that way in my life if I allow myself to feel that fucking way. I'm not freed of anything. Every fucking day I have to free myself, And the more honest I could be with myself, and psychedelics rips me open and help me dissolve my fear of all these things that just simply aren't true. If the boogeyman was real, that motherfucker would have killed me already. You know? So why am I scared at nighttime in my closet? If the motherfucker was underneath my bed, I'd already be dead.
Yeah.
So why am I scared of that? But I have to let go of that fear because that fear is real. I can really tap into that if I want to. But I can also just diminish it. So what do you think you apply that to our minds, dude? When I'm having a shitty day in life, and I have them quite often, I at least now know these things that can work in my life that I didn't know worked before. And I have to lean on those things heavily to move myself forward. And I keep a journal because I journal. I keep track of my life so I can actually see what's going on, because people forget. How many times in your life have you been just crushing it? Just things are going good for you. And then bam, reality just hits you and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Everything was going so great. Why did I do this? Or why did this happen? I can't believe this happened. It's easy to forget all the hard shit you've been through. It's easy to forget where the fuck you started at and where you're at today. It's easy to forget that and fall back in that depressive state. But when you journal, you keep a fucking record of this shit. So you can actually see the truth, not the lies you tell yourself. And so, dude, I've been opened up to so much shit, and I'm just fucking grateful, man. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for all those days that are shitty too.
I love that Dan and I, obviously we love to chime in when we can, but I love that this part of as we're starting to wrap up this episode, kind of hearing you just flow kind of like that and get motivated into it. I don't know. It's kind of neat because you and I feel like go off other people's things and we like to talk, but just to sit there in silence and listen to you go off of it, I'm sure listeners are listening to it like, damn, like we just got hit with so many angles of truth and so many interesting things about our lives that we have to face. And I think it's like incredibly enlightening. So thank you for putting it that way, for one. Two, as we start to wrap, and I'll let Dan kind of finish up, but I'm just curious, going off of what you just said, what has kept you so motivated in your life? Like what have kind of been the things that you've learned post-military the most that have kept you going in this new form of yourself?
That even in my biggest fucking pain, people looked up to me, man. People relied on that. And, you know, when I was struggling for purpose in my life, I'm like, and the telltales have been there this entire transition, but it's just a matter of if I was going to see it or not. And my biggest motivation is it's not about me, you know? How many of our friends, civilian or military, you're like, oh, that dude was a Titan, that chick was a Titan, and they killed themselves, and people are like, fuck, I have no hope. I have no hope. If they couldn't do it, I definitely can't do it. Dude, I am not gonna be no fucking stigma, bro. I'm not gonna be no statistic. I ain't gonna be no fucking 22 Jump Street motherfucker. Like, that ain't me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here for a purpose, and that purpose is to free as many people as I possibly can who want to listen to me to free themselves. That is why I'm here. Because if you can change your life, just one small thing, dude, and give yourself more happiness and fulfillment, fuck, man. You understand what that can do to everything in your life? Dude, when I found out how just horrible I was treating my wife, when I thought I was being normal, when I thought my actions were being just, when I found out what that really did to her, I was fucking devastated that I can do that. And we can all do that because we're all that fucking powerful.
Yeah.
We can all heal. We can all fucking hurt and kill. And so it's not about finding the fucking balance. It's about finding what's best for fucking you. And if this one way isn't working for you, man, shift it. And when I really started to hear these other perspectives of like how other people, how I interacted with the world, I'm like, fuck, I was doing that? Dude, I argued and yelled with my mom for decades. I remember being in high school fighting with my mom and my dad telling me, you're not going to be around all day. You're about to go to war. Like, fucking spend some time with your mom. Be nice. And it wasn't until I got tired of hurting her, dude. I got tired of thinking life was guaranteed tomorrow when I know truth, this is not the case.
And how are you guys now? Probably.
Dude, we're fucking G's, bro.
Yeah.
We're G's. I've had my mom as like a sitter for me a few times.
Mom's a homie now.
She's always been my homie. Yep. But you know who wasn't the homie? I wasn't, man. Mm-hmm. And I programmed her by my actions. So, you know, by me trying to better myself and interact with her better and my wife better, they had to reprogram themselves to accept me, to accept this change that I wasn't this old person. You see how it works? We can help fucking literally ripples make waves. We can literally fucking do that. And we don't even know that we do that. But if we fucking stop, if we give up and we want to fucking stop, dude, I didn't want to work out today. I didn't want to get the fuck up. I didn't want to. I even hit my snooze alarm. But I'm like, fuck, I know better. Anyways,
Damn.
that's my other rant. Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's great as a turtle turns on in the background. I don't know.
I love it. Turtles.
Save the turtles. Dude, I love everything you were saying, and like Bo said,
I could go on for like 4 hours.
I let you keep going because there's so much truth in what you said, and you know I've taught leadership at multiple different levels, but I was teaching a leadership class somewhat recently, and I always start with individual leadership. I always start with you have to learn how to watch out for yourself, and it's counterintuitive to what a lot of people think about leadership and what they think about like what it means to be a good leader. And there's a lot to that notion of like lead by example, but you need to be the example for yourself as well. You've got to watch out for yourself. You've got to take the actions to better yourself every day, to try something that's going to make your day better than the outcome could be if you were to just sit in comfort and not do anything. And it's really easy to lose sight of that and to not push yourself to do more, or push yourself to do the uncomfortable, or push yourself to do the one thing that's going to turn your day up, you know, in the right direction. And so I'm so glad that everything you just said, because what works for you is not going to work for everybody. But if people are willing to listen and they say it's working for them, just keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so as many Codys as there can be in the world that can give people motivation to be a better version of themselves, like you said, be that force multiplier, like there needs to be as many as can be. And it's been, you know, an honor to listen to your story. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you're in the book. I'm glad we were finally able to meet. I know Bo was able to meet you. I hope we can meet in person, you know, soon here in the future. But
yeah, I was bummed you went back west. I was hoping to meet up with you out here again, but I know that life takes us all over the place.
But this has been awesome. And what's coming next? What's the next thing? Where's your vision? What are you doing now? You know, what's your vision for the future? I know you kind of talked about you're going to keep doing your same thing, but do you have anything big coming out? Anything you want to tell people about coming up?
Yeah, so I just started my very first like coaching mentorship group called R3, or Raw, Real, and Ready, and I'm telling you, man, I was holding on to it for such a long time, you know, afraid to break out of my own shell, you know, because I'm a human person like everyone else. But you know, I'm proof that you can do it. And you know, this whole coaching group, it means a lot to me, because it's the message to me that I needed to hear, but I didn't know how to find it. And I just want to share everything that I know, whether it's a thought or like, hey, I tried this, maybe it'll work for you. Because there's so many people out there that I'm convinced everyone has something that we can all learn from someone else. And when it comes to personal growth and personal development, we all have something that we can't let go of, or we're having a hard time transition from. And dude, so I'm creating a tribe of raw, real, ready people, dude, that can literally take on anything in life. You want to make more money in your business? Boom, this is for you. You want to make a better person in your relationship? Boom, this is for you. You're having like limiting beliefs on like what you should do in your life. You're fucking confused. You're distracted. Boom, this is for you, man. This is for people who want to better themselves and become raw and real with their shit, so they can actually see exactly what's going on in their life, so they can have that aha moment and take radical fucking change, right, in the direction they want to go in. Because that's what it's all about. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do so. I'm super pumped for that. My wife and I just closed on some property here in Northern Idaho. And my goal is to be able to turn that into a retreat. I got 2 homes on there. So my goal is to be able to like, host people, at least have a place to live. I have some nature there. We can go do some of the practices that I do. And then I'm about to start renting a building for my business, because we're moving out of our rental property into a 400 square foot home, which I'm super pumped about, but there's no room for my business. So then I'm about to have a place where I can, host events there too. And I really just want to get more involved in the community. I want to get I want to start meeting people. I'm doing my best. 2022 is me getting outside of the screen and into people's faces. You know, I want to interact with people. I want to shake their hands, and I really want to share energy with people because I truly believe that we're all energy, and we can vibe each other up, dude, where we can make traumatic changes in our life. And there's so many people that are out there just like really hoping for like, fuck, that one small nugget to change everything for them. And, you know, it might not come from me, it could come from you, but you know, it takes us connecting. It takes us to start our own ripples. And that's really that's what my goal is for 2022 is to get in person people.
Well, again, Cody, we're super grateful to have you on. And if there's any way that we can help support that, please let us know. We're obviously going to link your socials for people that are listening that want to follow along. Again, for people that want to support you, I heavily stop what you're doing. Go check out We Defy the Norm. If you love this episode and you're hearing more about Cody's story, I promise you there's no better way to support him than by what he's passionate about through his brand. And again, if there's anything that Dan and I or our company can help to help share your story even more, or help facilitate more people to introduce you to, or for us to maybe somehow meet up in Idaho one day, we're totally here for you.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm super appreciative and grateful of you guys. And what an awesome opportunity. You guys already did enough with the book, even just to be a thought on that big map. There's some big names in that book. And, you know, more importantly, just like the names, just like there's so many different souls and experience in that. And just to be part of that book. And I'm very, very humbled by it. And just makes it all mean more to me. And I'm just really appreciative to be able to share what I have to say. And I'm really appreciative for you guys' time and attention, because I don't know. I really appreciate you guys and everything that you guys are doing and the message that you're spreading, and, you know, putting your own selves out there with your own stories, putting yourselves out there, you know, bringing the stories of others to life. And that's a powerful gift, and that's a powerful tool. And no one knows what can happen when we do those things until we do them. And I'm just really appreciative that you guys are out there paving the way for that. Very humbled. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. And again, we look forward to talking to you again soon. And thank you again for joining us tonight.
Thank you.